Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Mikage, and we've got some brand new news here. A little GUI preview for our first time setup wizard. Picking a game folder, loading decryption keys, and bootstrapping system titles to boot into the official 3DS initial setup. Still a prototype, but fairly happy with how well it's turning out. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to their YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. If you needed proof as to whether or not Mikage is real, well, I think this is pretty good proof. Development is taking time. Don't rush the developer here, and it'll release when it's ready. And speaking about releases, next up here we're talking about emulation on Android with Obtanium. And if you always wanted the latest and greatest version of Android apps without having to check the GitHub page and without waiting for the Google Play Store, well, Obtanium might be your friend. At the time of filming, version 0.16.0 beta literally just dropped. We've got a bunch of bug fixes here, and it now supports direct APK links. For those who may not be aware, Obtanium allows you to install and update apps directly from the release pages and receive notifications when new releases are made available. It's a great way to stay up to date on your emulators if you're not watching my videos. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Yuzu, and if you're a Pokemon fan, you're gonna like this update. So the paid testing early access version of Yuzu, Early Access 4075, fixes a number of time gimmick issues in games. For example, Pokemon Quest is now fully playable, and Pokejobs and Dens are now fully functional in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Next up, we're quickly talking about The Last of Us Part II Remastered on the PS5. If you own The Last of Us Part II on the PS4, it apparently is going to be a $10 upgrade to the remastered PS5 version. And interestingly, if you own The Last of Us Part II on the PS4 and you've already pre-ordered The Last of Us Part II Remastered on the PS5 for full price, it appears that Sony is proactively refunding people. They're refunding people to allow them to pre-order at $10 and take advantage of that savings. Is that a rare or a common win for Sony? Let me know in the comments below. Moving on, and we're shifting from a common or an uncommon win to a common or an uncommon loss, and we're talking about Warzone. And it appears that Warzone received an update that completely broke the game. Here's a tweet from Modern Warzone. Warzone is unbelievably broken after this update. Here's what happens when you try to open your loadout in-game. Most people can't even make it past the main menu to even attempt to play the game without running into a bug. And I'm going to play this for a couple of seconds because it's a little offensive on the eyes. I'll drop a link to this tweet in the description below in the event that you wanted to see more of this nonsense. Things were so bad that Raven Software owned up to it and issued an apology, and they said our teams were made immediately aware of the issues and began investigating shortly after the update went live. We rallied studio teams from around the world to get these issues resolved as swiftly as possible. Now my question is, how was this rolled out in this state? Was it not tested? Moving on, and we're quickly talking about The Elder Scrolls Online, and they just unveiled the brand new Gold Road DLC. I'll drop a link to the trailer in the description below. There's 2 brand new dungeons, a brand new Sabercat mount, a brand new scribing system, and even more. It's set to release on PC first on June 3rd, and then on consoles on June 18th. Next up, we're talking about something super weird, and this has popped up in a few different places. But apparently Walmart is going to start removing physical Xbox games in stores, starting with Starfield. Copies are either going to be 3 cents or destroyed. Chances are they're not going to be 3 cents in store, and you're probably not going to find them. I mean, if we take a closer look at this image, it says on Monday, January 22nd, the Xbox Series X Starfield video game will be marked down to 3 cents to prepare for its disposal at store level. Thank you for helping process this item off our shelves. A point of sale block will go into effect on Monday, January 22nd. The supplier is funding this action. Stores will not be charged. Now, based on this information, I've got a couple of thoughts. Number one, if someone were to enter Walmart Monday, January 22nd, first thing when they opened, there may be a very slim chance that they get the game for 3 cents. Probably not, though. And secondly here, I'm not sure if Walmart is initiating this or if Bethesda is. Now, based on this tweet and some other information, there's a lot of rumors swirling around that Walmart will be removing physical games from their stores. And I think this may be a possibility. I mean, all digital seems to be the way of the future. But at the same time here, the Walmart near me still has brand new copies of NHL 21 on their shelves, so I'm not too sure what to believe. Next up, this one is pretty neat. Someone is making their own Resident Evil style game in Godot. This is being built from the ground up. It's called Frostbite, and this is pretty promising considering this is only 1 month of work. They're possibly going to make it into a commercial game, and I'll drop a link to the YouTube video in the description below. Moving on, and this one's a quick one but a fun one, and if you like seeing stuff like this, let me know in the comments below. It was spotted over on Reddit World of Warcraft, and this is for the original vanilla collector's edition of the game. If you hold all 4 discs together, like this, they form a Titan ring with the artwork. I didn't know that. Do you remember when video games came on like 4 or 5 or 6 discs and took forever to install? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, I've got another quick one, and arguably another fun one. We're talking about Insignia, the Xbox Live replacement. And it appears that Insignia and Ximput are playing nice with Counter-Strike. I'll drop a link to this video in the description below and feel free to check it out. In my opinion, programs and services like this breathe a whole bunch of new life into older games and are great for preservation. And speaking about preservation, yesterday we talked about Persona 5, specifically a dumped copy of an early version of Persona 5. One that had different music in it and it was very weird, but not bad, just weird. The music was very different from the final product. Anyways, it appears people are trying to archive that version and preserve it. I'm not certain if this is the exact same one, but it has surfaced on archive.org. Next up, we're talking about arcade emulation on Android with MAME for Droid. MAME for Droid stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator, depending on how you want to interpret that. Anyways, this thing just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 1.7 is the latest update, and this one may help out with performance for you. They implemented a new, faster OpenGLES 3.2 renderer with advanced post-processing effects using shaders. MAME for Droid 2024 is 100% free, it's open source, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Next up, we're talking about PCXSense, a free and open source program to allow you to use your Dualsense controller in any game on your computer via Ximput. Now, it's worth pointing out that this program is not perfect just yet. It's still arguably in early development, but they just dropped PCXSense beta version 0.4. They say the GUI is almost done, and you can now create custom macros and custom adaptive trigger profiles. And they've added adaptive triggers to Ximput. In the future, they plan on adding gyro support and a whole bunch more. It's already got rumble support, Bluetooth and USB mode, GameCube triggers, Nintendo Switch triggers, and even more. And last up here, this is also a fun one and something super unexpected. I'll drop a link to the video in the description below. It appears that Hyundai Rally Team has made a GTA 6 trailer in real life. I'd like to say at this point I'm getting sick of seeing GTA 6 trailers, but at the same time here, all of these different versions are pretty interesting. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.